Happy Friday. It's the right weekend. And today it's been a while since I talked about multiple topics. Usually used to do this on Fridays, just to get a couple of stories out there that I wanted to that just touched a nerve, and got quite a few today. So sit back, enjoy, because some of these stories, if you're just like me, it's gonna piss you off because this I mean, what's going on right now with with these news stories, you're gonna see, like, this is disturbing. I'm sorry, I'm trying to start my timer so I could know how long I've been talking with you guys. So here's the first story I want to talk about, because this is sick. um Here's the story. Repent. January 6th defendant denounces Trump self, then gets released. So in order to get, here's the whole thing. There's a lot of people that were arrested for the January 6th riots that still have not been released. They have not been granted bail. Okay. Uh, and it's crazy because they have not been charged with insurrection. Most of these people are just being charged with trespassing because there's no proof of insurrection. So here's the terms of the release, which is sick. It goes here. The person is been released to the custody of his parents. He will be under 24-hour home incarceration, must stay away from DC and any political rallies, and must continue his psychiatric treatment. No firearms, can't catch any political TV programming, no social media. So he's not allowed to watch Fox News or MSNBC, which I'm sure watching MSNBC would really hurt this guy. But yeah, it goes here. The roughly 40 January 6 prisoners have a newsletter. What's the crazy thing here? It goes here that the judge worried that the conditions in the DC jail where Civic was held with other January 6 defendants were likely contribute to his further radicalization. It's like, so in order to get out of jail, you have to denounce your support for a political candidate. That's very Soviet, very China-like. You got to pledge your allegiance to the party. It's sick. It goes here. I love this here because it is like 1984. You have, but it was all right. Everything was all right. The struggle was finished. He had won the victory over himself. He loved Big Brother. Yeah, that's basically what happened. If you're okay with this, I don't know how you could be okay with this. You have to pledge fealty to a party to get released from jail. Here's another story. This infuriated me. Last night I saw this and I was so angry. U.S. in talks to pay hundreds of millions to families separated at the border. The government is considering payments of $450,000 per person affected by Trump's administration's zero tolerance policy in 2018. These people broke the law. You're paying people $450,000 for breaking into our country. That's basically what it is. Imagine someone you don't have a fence. Someone just walks into your house and just squats and goes, "Oh no, this is my house now too. I'm entitled to live here." No, you're not. You're not entitled to live in my house. You could ask me for permission, but you're not entitled to it. And these people just came in and they got kicked out, and now they're going to get paid for it. It just blows my mind that people could read this and go, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because Trump was such a bad guy. Who gives a shit how Trump was? This is, you don't have a right to come just walk over the border and say you live here now. That's not the way this works. But now you're going to pay the money? Now you're going to pay the money? It doesn't work that way. It just does not work that way. And keeping in line with stuff that is just, you look at this in the news and you go, how can you be okay with this? How can you be okay with this stuff? You know, how can you be okay with this stuff? I just don't get it. I don't get how people could be okay with this. So, like I said, keeping in line with stuff that just, I just look at it and go, how, you know, I understand, you know, how could people be okay with this stuff? I mean, it just infuriates me. So keeping in the spirit of the next couple of stories I'm going to show is, what's his name? Ibram X. Kendi, where his quote is, the only remedy to racist discrimination is anti-racist discrimination, which is just more racism. The only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. This is sick. Discrimination is just discrimination. And this is what I'm, when I talk about how this whole push for equity is just for a term that's pushing for more discrimination. Because the only way to the only way to make equal outcome is to actively discriminate. And the example I will show is, let's say for gifted, like in New York City, they're going to phase out the gifted program. So that means if you have a kid in New York City schools, if they're bright, very bright, they will no longer be able to be in a gifted school because it's discrimination for them to be in a gifted school, in a gifted class. So they're going to have to dumb it down. They're going to have to be dumbed down and be in a class with someone that's not on their level. And look, notice, I didn't say, there's nothing about colors or anything in my description there because it doesn't matter. Guess what? I'm a Latino. I was in that gifted program when I was growing up. It has nothing to do. I remember you know, scoring the highest in the school in 9th grade on my Stuyvesant test, and I still didn't make it. And when I told like some of the Chinese kids, they were so mad at me because they're like, how did you score better than me? And it's like, we're in the same class, dude. You know, just because sometimes I don't always speak properly, just sometimes I get mad. I'm still the same way. I don't, you know, I try not to over speak. I try not to overanalyze. I just try to plain speak, especially when I'm making my videos. But anyway, just went on my tangent like I always do. So this whole thing about discrimination, that's the only way, in order to really get to the heart of equity, is that you're going to have to discriminate. And the spirit of that, Harvard hosts a Shakespearean extravaganza, but only for Black people. Now remove Black and put white. Would that be okay? No. But according to Kendi, it's okay because the solution to past discrimination is future discrimination. Or, you know, however, but the solution to discrimination is more discrimination. No, it's not. If you really wanted, you know, inclusion, you would include everybody. Like the kids in Arizona that I made a video about, that they were being kicked out of a diverse area because they're white. Well, guess what? If it's an inclusion area, everybody should be welcome, not just Blacks and Latinos and Asians. White should be, it's supposed to be an inclusion area. But no, it was an exclusion. They wanted exclusion of white people. And here is exclusion of white people. Who knows if I would have been allowed in there. But this is how you get equity, is with discrimination. You need to have discrimination in order to guarantee equity. Do you want that exclusion? It's just a Shakespeare event. It's just going to a play. We should all want to mix together to watch it. It shouldn't just be one race of people. We should want that inclusion of everyone so they could all enjoy the play. But no, that's not what the left wants. The left wants to keep the division. That's why this push for equity instead of equality is there, because we've already reached a level of equality. Here in America, we may not be perfect, but it's the land of opportunity. That's why, like my story before about with the immigrants, or the illegal immigrants trying to come in this country, why do you think these people try to come here? Why do you think these people come from around the world to try to come here to make a better life for themselves? Is it because we're so racist as a country that they come here and they're going to be like, oh, well, the white man's going to keep me down? No, bullshit. They come here because they know that it'll be a good opportunity for them. So it's a walking contradiction with the left when they, ignore that all these people coming from around the world to want to be here, but call this place horrible. That we're they make it seem like we're the worst country in the world. But look at, so that's what they want. In order to get that equity, like I said, equity means active discrimination. And like I said, if this is not proof, like I said, here's a proof of, they're excluding it, they're making it only for blacks. Here's a different story, Daily Wire. All white men nominated for Science Award, so committee refused to pick any of them. So here it goes. Look, listen. It goes here. A group of scientists who were nominated for a prestigious award lacked diversity, so the review committee committed discrimination by refusing to advance anyone. So the Scientific American reported that 5 of the nation's top ICE scientists were supposed to review peer-nominated candidates for the American Geophysical Union Fellows Program, but after seeing that all the nominees were white and male, the committee decided not to move them forward. Can I ask, how many ICE scientists are female? How many ICE scientists are Black, Latino? Is it the fault of the 5 white men that they're ICE scientists? But no, the solution to pass discrimination is active discrimination. I'm going to change it to my quote. That's the solution for Kendi and all these CRT people and all the leftists. The solution to discrimination is active discrimination. Because that's what this is here. This is what the other story was. It was active discrimination. That's how you get equity. Equity is not about equal. It's not about being equal. Equity will create more division, more discrimination. Because in order to get an equal outcome, like I showed in my story about education, is you got to actively discriminate against those smart people. That's why in these communist Marxist countries, that's why it's not that everybody becomes equally rich. Everybody becomes equally poor. And that's how discrimination works. You're not going to get, to the point where we get to the society where everybody's going to be, equal or equitable, however they want to say it. What it's going to do is it's going to cause division, because you're going to have to, in order to create the equality of outcome, you have to game the system. You have to actively discriminate. Oh, you have two, you have two chickens, that person has one. Well, we're going to take your two chickens and give one chicken to everybody else. So now you're equally poor. Nobody, you're not trying to pick people up so that everybody can have 3 chickens. You just want to bring everybody else down. And that's the point of all of this stuff. It doesn't bring us up. It brings us all down. So that's their solution. Their solution to try to create a diverse and inclusive society is to actively discriminate. Are you okay with that? Because I'm not. I'm not. I grew up in the Lower East Side. I grew up being the lighter Latino. Okay, where all my friends were either dark-skinned Latinos or half black, half Spanish Latinos. And I grew up right next to Chinatown, and I grew up right next to a synagogue. I grew up with Muslim store owners. Okay, so I know what diversity looks like. And this is not it. This is spitting in the face of the way I grew up around the diversity I had. So, hope you guys have a good Friday. Sorry if came across a little angry, but these stories pissed me off today. So, follow me here on YouTube and Rumble. If you're on one, follow me on the other, please. Also, you can follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Gab. I'm going to give Clout Hub another chance. My cousin told me that it's been better, so I'm going to try it out. I also put on Telegram. Gotta remember to start next week. I'm going to definitely start trying to post on logos more. With that being said, hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'm out of here.